Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the zodiac sign Pisces and crimes. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. I'm going to be talking about what crimes the zodiac sign Pisces has a strong propensity to commit. And the first thing I think of about this are, being ruled by Neptune being one of the rulers, drug-related offenses. This could be driving under the influence. It could be under the influence of alcohol, even or drugs. This could be in drugs and alcohol-related offenses. It could be some kind of public intoxication. It can be possession of pharmaceutical drugs that they're not supposed to have, illegal possession of them, and perhaps selling them as well. This could be drug smuggling. This could be something, this is also, what Pisces can be involved in too are very strongly are deception. Crimes that have some kind of deceptive element to it, and this could cover a multitude of things. It could be identity theft. This could be, for impersonating somebody, being an imposter, pretend to be somebody in a field that they're not in, such as pretend to be a real estate person, selling a house that doesn't belong to them. Pretend to be somebody in some profession that they're not, in an attempt to get money that they're not entitled to. It could be insurance fraud, money laundering. This is, Pisces is really, out of all the signs, the most deceptive, I believe. What's interesting, they have, you may have heard of her, someone by the name of Esther Reed. She has a Pisces sun and moon. I don't know her ascendant because I couldn't find her time of birth online, and her natal chart with the ascendant based on the actual time of birth I could not find. But she had what she did was she used a number of aliases, and at least in one of them she had falsified credentials using the fake ID in order to gain access into a college. So this was through identity theft. Pisces could be somewhat of a chameleon. Pisces people, they could really just turn into one person and then another. They could have really like this manifold type personalities. Me and some other, and I would say many other people that are astrologers, and interested or enamored with astrology would concur that Pisces is basically an amalgamation or a combination of the other 11 zodiac signs. So they don't really have much trouble if they're perpetrating some crime which is connected with identity theft. They're trying to pretend to be someone they're not. They could generally handle this, I think, a lot easier than any of the other zodiac signs. Gemini can do this as well, but maybe Pisces might actually be the master at this. Now, I want to go back. It's another thing about Pisces and the connection with drug-related offenses. Now, I don't think this was an A rating on Astro.com. May have been B. You'd have to look that up to make sure. But Pablo Escobar, who was a notorious drug lord, drug cartel leader perhaps, but he was connected with terrorism as well, I believe. He has Pisces ascendant according to that chart. Keep in mind, though, it is a B rating. But, sometimes Pisces people may take drug-related crimes into a completely different element. And anyway, another thing, too, is I think about Pisces is that their crimes may often be connected with some psychotic behavior or some psychotic-like behavior. Keep in mind that Pisces does correspond with the 12th house in astrology, and the 12th house, of course, is associated with mental illness. And I think Pisces could be very susceptible to this. It is a dual sign. It is suggested, I mean, the dual signs, the mutable signs, are generally more unstable as opposed to the cardinal and fixed signs. The zodiac sign Cancer, being a cardinal sign, could be the exception to that, though. But the thing is, you look at the two really good examples of this. Now, perhaps Richard Ramirez, who was also known as the Night Stalker, and John Wayne Gacy, both had the sun and moon in Pisces. And they were, I mean, notorious serial killers. And, I mean, one of them, now Gacy, at the trial for him, he had on the defense side, of course, the way this worked, defense psychiatric experts, they had stated that they ascertained that he had paranoid schizophrenia and multiple personality disorder. And that was just one group. I don't know, and I don't know if he ever had a real official, I mean, that was maybe, perhaps that's one diagnosis from one group. And Richard Ramirez, I don't know what he had been diagnosed with. I mean, I know there was something about him having epilepsy, but I don't know if that could really be much of a contributing factor to, you know, the killing rampage he went on. But that being said, I do believe both these people did have some strong emotional, mental illness, I mean, for what they did. And this really, in Pisces, seems to be very susceptible to this. Keep in mind that Mercury in Pisces, Mercury is in its detriment and fall in Pisces. And of course, there could be, you know, obviously a reason for that. It does not work well in the sign of Pisces. And the thing is, too, and Mercury is connected with our rational mind, rational thinking. So really, when you look at Pisces, it's just the thing about them, the strong crimes sum up are really often drug connected. They're about deception, and also it could be connected often with some kind of emotional or mental illness. Many Pisceans, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant could have something like schizophrenia, and this is really, it's really, I think, between them and Gemini, they're the ones that generally have, they seem to be more prone or have that propensity to this. And I think the zodiac sign Cancer as well. I mean, Cancer, I mean, I think it's safe to say unequivocally they're the most temperamental and moody sign of the zodiac. They're very sensitive to transits, phases of the moon, so and they are ruled by the moon, so you understand how that works with them. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Pisces Crimes. And stay tuned. Next time I'm going to start another series. It's going to be about the zodiac signs and enemies. The first one will be Aries enemies, followed by Taurus enemies, and I'm going to go through all 12 zodiac signs. So anyway, people, two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.